episode 4. I'm your host, Daniel. Today I will be going over the movie Murder in the Red Barn from 1935 with Todd Slaughter, almost forgot his name there, and the movie The Terror from 1963 starring Jack Nicholson and Boris Karloff. In a way, I won't exactly be reviewing the movie. I had clarification from somebody that instead of reviewing the movie, since I can't really compare to back in the day since I wasn't actually there, I should do, my way I should do like an overview, kind of go over the movie. I'll still kind of go over acting and soundtrack and all that, but I'll more cover the movie than I will actually review the stuff that happened and like special effects and everything. But that way I can't know how they did things back then, so I'm going to do it my way. I still plan to add more interviews and horror shorts as time goes on. But as far as movies go, the Murder in the Red Barn, it was a black and white movie back in 1935. Todd Slaughter reminds me of somebody that would be a character from like Hunchback of Notre Dame, the live action. I'm not sure I cannot remember who played that character, but I know Todd Slaughter is famous for being in a lot of horror movies back in that time. He had, to me, a lot of overacting. Excuse me. He, at one point, basically the gist of the movie is this gypsy loves the main character, the female, and Todd Slaughter is the policeman the magistrate at the time, and he basically tells her that he's going to marry her and take her to Paris, and then he gets into some gambling debt, so he decides that he's going to marry the senator woman to basically take her money and write off his debts. So the other woman that he promised to marry, he has to get rid of her somehow because he believes that she will go around telling people that he planned to marry her and it'll make his image look bad. So the gypsy is in love with her. Well, the father of the daughter doesn't really like the gypsy, so the father doesn't let them be seen, and she sneaks off to go see Todd Slaughter's character, the magistrate, thinking that he still loves her, but she doesn't know any better. So he basically, at one point, when the gypsy is told off by the girl because she still feels in love with the magistrate, she tells him off, so he leaves, and Todd Slaughter finds her alone, and he decides that he needs to get rid of her so she cannot tell a secret. So a storm rolls in and he takes her to this, it should be Red Barn. In the movie it's dark because there's no color, but I would say the barn would be red, and I think they reference it as being a red barn anyways. But they end up going in there and he locks her in and basically shoots her and then buries her body. Well, he accidentally buries her. His pistol, realizes right as he's about to leave, and apparently decides not to go back for the murder weapon. So he leaves, and they assume, he tells everybody that it had to have been the gypsy. So everybody's looking for the gypsy, thinking he did it and all this because she was always around the gypsy. Well, turns out the gypsy runs away and hides in the Red Barn. They track him to the Red Barn. So they follow him there, and they manage to break in, and basically he tells all of these people after him that the magistrate did it. Todd Slaughter's character did it, and Todd Slaughter, of course, denies it. And they end up, the dog finds something over in a darker area of the barn, and starts to kind of dig but not dig, and so they think something's there. So they decide to dig there, and they make Todd Slaughter's character do it because he's the only one who doesn't want to dig. He is all about thinking that there's nothing there, that they should just go away. So basically they make him dig. He keeps digging. He finds his pistol, which they match up to being the magistrate's, and he says that it wasn't his, or that he doesn't know why it's there. So basically he wants to leave thinking there's nothing else there, which he actually knows there is, and the father of the daughter tells him, no, you keep digging. So he keeps digging, and finally he comes across her body, and the surprise that he puts on either it's real overacting or they just made him, because he seemed to be like going crazier and crazier, and as the movie progressed, as to where maybe he didn't know for sure, or he had forgotten, or the sight of seeing her body was so horrific to him that it just surprised him. But he acts so crazy, and they end up pinning the blame on him like they're supposed to, and he gets arrested. So the gypsy is free to go because they pinned the murder on him, which was what happened. So he's waiting and waiting to be hung, and finally they said that we found a hangman, basically. So they take him out there, and the hangman's of course got a hood on, and he takes him up there, and as he's talking to him, he pulls down the hood and the mask and basically tells him an eye for an eye. You know, you killed her, basically now I get to kill you. Of course, the legal way with the hangman's noose. And basically, I believe it kind of cuts out there, and I don't think you actually see the magistrate's death. You just kind of imply that it happens. Of course, you can see I have an outrageous hat, just like the last episode where I had a Frankenstein mask on. So I thought I'd go with the hat this time. Kind of throws everybody off a little bit. As far as that movie, it's still worth a watch, of course, but you need to make your own opinion, especially if you like black and white movies. It's still good for a movie from 1935, so I would check it out as a whole. But there wasn't, to me, a lot of special effects, but of course it's 1935, they could only work with what they have. I'm trying to stay away from the criticizing it as in the different portions. I'm trying to go overview. I've got to get off of that subject. So as far as that movie, check it out. It's a good movie. See what you think of it. Let me know. Send me a message. Leave a comment. At least for that movie. As far as The Terror, the movie from 1963, starred Jack Nicholson. It was hard to see his acting at first until he made this one face, which I think I've seen in a lot of his movies, and I was like, that's Jack Nicholson. I really understood then. In the movie, his character seemed really invasive. Like he wanted to be in everything. Like Boris Karloff was doing this and doing that, and Jack Nicholson's character had to be everywhere. Like he would. At one point, he thought the Baron was talking to his dead wife, and he just burst in the room. And if I was the Baron, I would have been like, "Get out now! Well, I'm gonna kill you. I don't care if you're a French officer." Basically, the gist of this movie is the Baron's wife was killed. At least you find out later. She was killed, which I won't exactly say by who, but she was killed, and her ghost / body kind of just roams the area. And of course, Frenchman, this French officer, which is Jack Nicholson's character, who had just got done from the army with Napoleon, or at least he's off on the side yards, and he basically is taken in by this gypsy woman, and she kind of nurses him back to health. And he talks about, I saw this woman, and she's like, there's no woman out there, not matching that description. They also say that there's no Baron in the castle. Of course, there's a Baron with his butler there, and basically he goes to his castle, goes to visit him, and he ends up convincing the Baron to let him stay there because he's like, I'm a French officer, I can just go get people from the French army, and we'll end up taking this castle, and there's nothing you can do about it. So the Baron gives in and lets him stay. Well, the Frenchman keeps thinking he sees her or hears her voice, so he keeps going to different places trying to solve, because her name, when he sees her, is Elise, but whenever he sees this portrait of the Baron's wife, her name is Elaine. No, it's switched. It's Elaine is who she tells him she is, while Elise is the Baron's deceased wife. So basically, throughout the movie, he's trying to figure out what happened to the Baron's wife and why the Baron does the oddities that he does. And Boris Karloff is a good Baron, crazy of course, but you could tell that he had that Frankenstein walk, because I was looking at as he was walking across the camera view, and you could tell that he played Frankenstein just from the way he walked. It was one of those things you look for. So I could tell that he had been Frankenstein. Of course, he didn't look nothing like him in this, but anyhow, I digress. So as the movie goes on, he basically, the Frenchman finally finds out that the Baron supposedly killed his wife, which it gets even more confusing. Well, I guess I did tell who killed the wife. So basically, it gets even more confusing when the butler killed Edgar, which is a guy that was sleeping with the Baroness, and so then the Baron killed his wife because of it all. But it turns out that actually Edgar is the Baron, and he's, I guess, crazy enough that he took on the persona of the Baron and just kind of fell into the role and just never came out of it. It was one of those things, he doesn't know himself as Edgar anymore, which Edgar is the gypsy woman's son. And so for the longest time, she thought he was dead. And towards the end of the movie, the old Baroness that's deceased, she ends up convincing the Baron to basically kill himself, to go to the catacombs where her body is buried, and he's going to flood it because there's a tunnel that leads from the ocean into the catacombs, which will flood it, and he'll drown, but he'll also be with her, as in a way. So basically, he decides he's going to do this because he's crazy by this point. He's done lost it. And of course, Jack Nicholson's character comes down there and ruins it at the time. But at one point, it was weird because the butler and the woman and the Baroness were all fighting with each other. So it was really confused how that all happened. But basically, the Baron dies. I believe he was trapped in the catacombs. Well, Jack Nicholson saves Elaine/Elise and takes her outside of the catacombs outside. The ending scene is basically him setting her against a tree. I think she was half conscious, and he gives her a kiss. And then this is where it gets really weird because he kind of has this look of shock on his face, and he pulls away. Well, at first her face looks fine, and then for 1963's, the way that their stuff did, it looked like her face was just melting until it was like a skull with like almost like orangish candle wax on it. Of course, that's supposed to be her skin melting, but just how they did it that's what it looked like to me. And that it's just messed up because he went there searching for a woman that he thought he did say at one point that he loved her, and I was confused because he'd only seen her a couple days. I heard love at first sight, but that was odd. He'd never seen her before, and then he was all about finding her and helping her, and it was just so weird. The oddest part to me is when this bird claws out this male gypsy's eyes, and then he's on the side of a cliff, like an edge of a cliff. I knew he was going to fall, but when he falls, he doesn't even scream or anything. He just falls and hits the ground and then hits again. And if I was falling off a cliff, even if I was blind, I still would have screamed because you would have felt that, as you lose your balance and fall, you would be like, ah. But no, he doesn't even do anything like that. So that was odd to me why he didn't even yell out. But as far as that goes, that's another good movie to watch from 1963, Terror, starring Jack Nicholson and Boris Karloff. I would watch it if I were you, to just at least put your opinion in there if you have any questions about it or anything else like that. Please feel free to leave a comment. Of course, subscribe to me, like the video, share it with all your friends. I need as many views as you can and subscribers, as many as you can. As far as things go, I would like to thank the Lakeview College of Nursing for this shirt. If you can, donate to them. This was from their charity run. So it's always good to give to a cause. The studio is also taking donations. If you would like to donate to the studio, I will leave a link below to the donation site. Feel free to, like I said, like, share, subscribe, let everybody know about it. If there's any movies you want to see me review that have to do with horror or sci-fi, leave them in comments or send me a message. I kind of stray away from possession and paranormal movies in that case. Just depends. They're not my type of movie. But I mean, if you really want to see me talk about something, let me know, or have any questions about another movie, another horror or sci-fi horror movie that you were confused about or had questions about. I'll try and answer them. That's if I know the answer. I mean, I'm not just going to give you a lie, but like I said, like, subscribe, share. That is all I have for today. Thanks for watching.